Hi, in today's lesson, we're going to talk about the area of triangles and trapezoids. So, two triangles are formed when a parallelogram is cut in half. So, when we're cutting something in half, we want to make sure that it creates two identical things. So, if I take a circle, fold it in half, and then cut it, I would have two identical half circles. So, in order to cut a parallelogram in half, we have to go from opposite corner to opposite corner. So here, this is how I would get those two identical triangles. So the area formula for a parallelogram is base times height. So we are going to cut that in half. So when we're finding the formula for a triangle, the area for a triangle, we have area equals half base times height. So we're going to do half times the base times height because, again, a triangle is half of a parallelogram. So the height of the triangle will form a right angle with the base of the triangle. So we talked about that with parallelograms. It's the same thing with triangles. So we have to look for that right angle to figure out where the base and height is. So in number 1, for example, we have this triangle given to us, and because it's a triangle, we're going to write this formula. So we have area equals half base times height. So we don't know the area, and we bring down our constant. So our constant here is 1/2, and then we plug in our numbers. So the base is typically the bottom, but I like to look for my right angle first. So here is my right angle. Okay, so our base is 14. So we're going to multiply by 14. And the height along that right angle is 16. So we're going to multiply by 16. Then we type this in on our calculator. So I like to use my fraction button. 1/2, click over, and then we got times 14 times 16. So my answer here is 112. Remember, when we're working with area, because we did inches times inches, it is going to be inches squared. All right, number 2, we have another triangle. And again, I like to look for my right angle. Here's my right angle. And starting with our formula. So formula is area equals half the base times height. Plugging in our values, we don't know the area equals. Half is our constant, so we just bring that down. And then base, in this case, is 3.5. So we're going to multiply by 3.5. And the height is 2. So we're going to multiply by 2. All right, go ahead and type this on your calculator. You should have gotten area equals 3.5, and this time you should have meters squared. Okay, area of trapezoids. So now, when we have a trapezoid, this is 1 or 2 triangles. And a rectangle combined. So 1 or 2 triangles and then also a rectangle. So here's 2 different versions of a trapezoid. So this is 1 rectangle and 1 triangle. And then down here we have 1 rectangle and then the 2 triangles on the side. So it's 1 rectangle and then it's either 1 or 2 triangles. To find the area, we use a different formula. So almost all of our formulas that we had base and height in them for these 2-dimensional figures. So, however, when we're dealing with trapezoids, there are 2 bases. So our area formula is area equals, and we're still doing 1/2. So 1/2 times the grouping of both of our bases. So we have to add base 1 and base 2 together. And then we multiply the height. So we still have base times height here, but this time we have 2 bases, so we have to make sure we add those together first. So base 1 is the first base, and base 2, so B2 is the second base. Your bases are always your set of parallel lines. So right here, this line is parallel to this line. They would move on in the same direction forever and ever and would never meet. So base 1 and base 2 are our parallel lines. And then the height is, H is the height. So when we're looking for the height of the trapezoid, we are looking for, that right angle, which is right here. So this would be our height, and it kind of makes an H, as you can see here. So the height is the line that connects the two bases but forms a right angle. We wouldn't use this line here because it does not form a right angle, so that is not our height. So for example, in number 3, we're going to use our formula for a trapezoid. So when we're dealing with trapezoids, again, our formula is area equals half times base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So we're going to plug in values. We don't know the area, so I bring down A. 1/2 is a constant, so we just bring that down. And then base 1 and base 2. Doesn't matter which one's base 1, base 2, because the order in which we add does not matter. So our bases are always the parallel lines. If I look at my trapezoid here, our parallel lines is 7 and 12. So we're going to add 7 plus 12. And then the height is where the right angle is formed. So our right angle is formed here, making our height 4. So times 4. Now we're going to plug this into our calculator. So we have 1/2 times 7 plus 12 times 4. So our answer here is our area is 38. And because we're dealing with inches over here, area is always in square units. So we have inches squared. Go ahead and go to your back page now. So it says, use your understanding of area to answer questions 4 through 9. We're just going to focus on questions 4 through 6. Okay. So in number 4, first you need to identify what shape it is, so that way you know which formula to use. So this is a trapezoid. Therefore, we're going to use area equals half base 1 plus base 2 times the height. All right, now I want you to plug in your values. Area equals 1/2. Our bases here should have been 6 4/10 plus 7 6/10 because those were our parallel lines. And then the height should be this 4 2/10 because this is where the right angle is formed. So they gave us too many numbers here that we did not need. That's okay, because we got to make sure we remember how to do that. Type in your calculator, what answer do you get? And you should have 29 4/10 centimeters squared. Number 5, first, what shape is it? We have a triangle, therefore we're going to use the triangle formula. Area equals half base times height. We're going to plug in values. So we don't know the area. Half is a constant, so we bring it down, times the base. So remember, we're looking for base and height. We do need to use this right angle. So here is our base and height. So base is 3 2/10, and the height is 2 8/10. The order in which you multiply does not matter, so if you have that in a different order, that's okay. But remember, we didn't need this one because that wasn't along the right angle. Go ahead and type into your calculator. And you should get an area of 4 48 inches squared. All right, and number 6. So first, what shape is this? It's a triangle. We gotta make sure we use the triangle formula. So area equals half base times height. We're gonna plug in our values. We don't know the area. Half is a constant, so we just bring it down. And then now we have to identify what our base and height is. So again, when you're identifying base and height, look for the right angle. And it's the 2 lines along that right angle. So our base and height, both of them are 12. So we have times 12 times 12. Go ahead and type this in on your calculator. And you should get 72 feet squared.